Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Let me call the meeting to order, please. I know you're all excited to be here, but if we get some silence, I don't have anything to pound. Can I call this meeting to order, please? Can I have your attention? Thank you. Okay, roll call. Do we have Trustee Whitaker on the phone? So Trustee Whitaker should be joining us on the phone, or she may not at all.
I'm here.
Okay, she's traveling. Oh, she's here. Okay, so all trustees are present. Karina, has the agenda been posted according to the Nevada Open Meeting Law? Thank you very much. Pledge of Allegiance. We have Mia Roman and Aaliyah Redmond from Hudden Elementary. They're going to do the pledge and a lifelong learner. Everybody please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Being a lifelong learner means learning every day. I learn everywhere I go and at my own pace.
Good. Thank you, girls. Thank you very much. Come on, right over here. That's Mia and Aaliyah. Perfect. There you go. That's that. Thank you guys very much. You guys did great. Thank you. Thank you. Can we give another round? Okay, on to public comment. Members of the public who speak are asked to state their name for the record and will be limited to a uniform number of minutes. Tonight, that's 3 minutes. Board members may respond briefly to public comments but cannot deliberate on matters that are not listed on the agenda. For matters on the agenda, the board will conduct public comment after discussion of each agenda action item before the board takes any action. A summary of public comments will be noted in the minutes. Is there any public comment tonight? Go ahead, come on up and state your, turn the mic on, it's just a quick tap and state your name, please. Real quick tap. There you go.
There we go. James Hines.
Great, get a little closer to the mic so we can make sure they can hear you online too.
James Hines.
Okay, you have public comment? Go ahead.
You can sit down if you want to. Oh, okay, perfect. That will actually work much better. Thank you. Are we ready?
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, members of the Churchill County School Board. My name is James Hines, and I serve as the Vice President of Turning Point USA at Churchill County High School, a student club formally approved by Mr. Tim Spencer. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. On March 13th, 2025, our club president was informed, without warning, that we can no longer meet on campus. The reason given was a Second Amendment themed poster we had displayed. We were given no written explanation and no reference to any specific policy violation. It appears this decision was based on the content of our message, not on any actual rule we violated. This action directly contradicts the Equal Access Act of 1984, which states that public secondary schools receiving federal funding may not deny student groups access to school facilities based on the content of their speech, whether political, religious, or philosophical. Turning Point USA is a nonprofit civic organization, and our activities have always been conducted respectfully and in accordance with school guidelines. The U.S. Supreme Court affirmed this principle in Westside Community Schools versus Mergens in 1990. In that case, the court ruled that schools must provide equal access to student-initiated groups regardless of their viewpoints. Denying such access is not only discriminatory, unlawful. Additionally, in Tinker versus Des Moines, 1969, the court made it clear that students do not shed their constitutional rights to freedom of speech or expression at the schoolhouse gate, unless speech causes substantial disruption, which, in our case, it did not. It is protected under the First Amendment. We respectfully request that the board review this decision and restore our club's access to campus. Protecting the rights of all student organizations, regardless of viewpoint, is not just a legal duty. It is essential to fostering a school culture grounded in fairness, respect, and democratic values. Thank you for your time and your commitment to upholding these principles.
Thank you very much. Is there any more public comment tonight? All right, seeing no more public comment, we will move on. Number 6, review and adoption of agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as posted.
Okay, I have a motion by Trustee McFadden, a second by Trustee Ghetto. Yes, let's go ahead and make that flexible. Yes.
I also move for a flexible agenda.
Okay, so I have a by Trustee McFadden, a second by Trustee Ghetto. Is there any public comment on the flexible agenda for tonight's meeting? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Okay, the next we have many recognitions. I know my alphabet, but they aren't necessarily going to go in order of the alphabet. And right away, we're going to start by N. Commander Combs, Fallon Naval Air Station XO, will provide a short presentation regarding the month of the military child. There you are right there. Thank you.
All right, I think we're still on here. First, let me say thanks for inviting me to be part of this month's board meeting. Like was already stated, I'm Commander John Coombs, call sign Free Ride, Executive Officer out at Naval Air Station Fallon. In April, we celebrate the military child and the role they have within the armed forces community. There are over 1.6 million military children worldwide who experience unique challenges as a result of their parents' service. On behalf of all the military members and their families that live and work in Fallon, I want to extend my deepest thanks and appreciation to the Churchill County School Board members, administrators, and especially the educators and community members who have gone out of their way to welcome and assist our military children navigating the challenges that come with last-minute and often poorly timed moves, mom and dad deploying, finding new friends, and learning their possibly 10th new school and teachers. Your collective support as they work through these emotional and social challenges and ensuring that they have the opportunity and resources needed to succeed plays a critical role in enabling not only their success, but also those service members stationed here to accomplish their mission. While in the month of April, we specifically celebrate the military child and recognize the challenges that they face. I want to simultaneously thank not just everyone here on this school board and in this room, but our collective community as we support our collective youth future. With that, I'll turn it back over. I know we got a lot of recognition for some of our superstar youth that are already pursuing a direction towards military service, as well as our other youth that are being recognized both academically and for their different sports. So I'll turn that back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all you guys do for the district, the city, and the country. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to get on to some more recognitions. Are we still going to start with B, the archery state champions?
This is for the students that competed in the Nevada State Archery Tournament in a program called NASP, Nevada Archer or National Archery in the Schools program. We have Courtney Phipps, Alfredo Perez, Willow Schultz. David Martinez. Zach Tom. Lars Rasmussen. Wiley Portfield. Ava Barrel. Alyssa Gardner. Sheila Miller. Kayla Carnes. Jasmine Collier. Patrick Silva. Dean Spencer. Miles Coatney. Chase Rothmeyer. Ella Malama Gomes. Colby McFadden. Franklin Sabanovich. Mariah Schaefer. Isabella Lapana. Victoria Dobbs. Melanie Mora. Caden Walsh. I think we blended two of the groups together. A lot of these students are also qualified for the Western Nationals tournament that is happening this Friday. So if you're one of those students going to Western Nationals, raise your hand. Coach, would you like to say anything?
First off, I'd just like to congratulate these students. They've been so great this year. As a fairly new archery teacher, I probably have learned more from them than they have from me. So I appreciate them, and I'm very proud of their accomplishments and how they represent our high school and our district. So congratulations.
Thank you, great job.
Ready.
Yeah. Amber?
Okay, we're going to move on to NJROTC certificates.
separated. First off, we have a recognition for the dedication and faithful service to the Churchill County High School NJROTC program, and that is to Mr. Billy Thompson. Okay, so this group is the drone team, second place, 8th Brigade drone competition. We have Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Clayton Bennett. Okay, let's just read and you can hand. Next we have Cadet Lieutenant Claire Hahn. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Zachary Lamke. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Brody Hughes. Cadet Lieutenant Commander Aileen Cotto. Okay, next group is the Armed Regulation Drill, third place team, the Washoe County School District Drill Meet. We have Cadet Senior Chief Petty Officer Giles Arata. Cadet Lieutenant Humphrey Arata. Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Ella Bassam. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Anderson Delos Reyes. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Monica Gagton. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Georgie Gain. Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Tyler Macalack. Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Ethan Murray. Cadet Senior Chief Petty Officer Abigail Lacow. Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Jonathan Peralta. Cadet Senior Chief Petty Officer Allie Scott. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Monica Gagton. Cadet, unarmed first year drill third place team. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Georgie Jean. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Zachary Lamke. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Lars Rasmussen. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Anderson Delos Reyes. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Benjamin Hawquist. Cadet Seaman Recruit Jocelyn Ledesma Chavez. Mr. Thompson, would you like to say any words?
Just real quick, really wanted to appreciate the board. Thank you guys for recognizing the cadets. The unique part about this program is just this year we started traveling and getting back into competitions, which is a really big deal. It's been years since Churchill has been involved. The challenging part is we don't get to work in divisions and districts kind of like sports. So we get up against some of the largest schools all the way from Northern Nevada all the way down to Vegas. So for these guys to place in their first year, coming back into competition with small groups, as you heard some of the names called multiple times, they're staying after practice for the first team, and they stick around for another practice directly after to be on that second team, and they put in just endless bouts of hours. I can't, thank this group enough. The hard work and effort they put it in is just, a reflection of what Churchill has to offer. So for you guys to recognize them, I appreciate it, and congratulations, guys. You've earned every ounce of what you got this year. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Go ahead and stay there. Don't go anywhere. Stay there. There's more.
Okay, this is for the Academic All-Stars first place team. Cadet Lieutenant Humphrey Arata. And for the first year squad, we have Aiden Dean. Back to the Academic All-Stars, we have Cadet Lieutenant J.G. Valerie Casillas-Abera.
Oh, right behind you, there she is. I'm going with you.
Cadet Petty Officer First Class Benjamin Hawquist. Cadet Master Chief Petty Officer Maggie Basurdo. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Monica Gagton. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Georgie Jean.
I'll get it eventually.
Cadet Petty Officer First Class Lars Rasmussen. Cadet Petty Officer First Class Anderson Delos Reyes. And now we move to the Academic Individual second place. Cadet Lieutenant Humphrey Arata. Yeah, let's get a photo with the whole group. One.
We're going to move on to esports. Academic Olympics. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so we are doing the Churchill County High School third place academic Olympic winners. We have Ethan Murray, Bren Thompson, James Hines, Craig Souls, and Lucas Chappell, Caleb West, Oakley McKnight, Dallin West, Melody Garcia Bishop, Humphrey Arata, congratulations. Is the coach here? Do they want to say anything?
I took on the academic team 3 years ago. First year, they wanted to win at least one round. We won one round every night we went. Last year, we wanted to be able to make it in the top brackets, and we made it that far. This year, we wanted to beat some of our rivals from last year, and we made them run for their money. We made them work hard. So we did very good, and I'm very proud of you guys.
Congratulations. Now, are we doing esports?
We are on to J. Marvel Rivals Esports, third place, Break the Internet, University of Reno Esports Invitational. We have Clayton Bennett, Shava Bonds, Salvador Perez, David Vincino, Seth Smith, Charles McKenzie. Charles McKenzie? No? Okay. Greg Souls. Stephen Cooper. Okay, did you want to have something to say? Are you the coach?
Thank you so much for nominating us. I really appreciate it, and all my team does. I'd like to mention how proud I am of our esports team. I watched 13 people. I held tryouts way at the beginning of the semester. I watched 13 people try out, and then I watched 12 people leave. And then everyone came back. It was absolutely fantastic to watch what these people could do. We went break the internet just randomly. We saw the event, and we were like, yeah, we're going to do that. And we went over there. We waited 10 hours throughout the whole thing. It was a 10-hour event. It was absolutely lovely, and I will never forget it. We won 8th place at HSCL. It was fantastic. I'm so glad to have a team such as this. I have talked how proud I am about this team to their face. I have talked about how proud I am with this team on one-on-one conversation. I love my team. There's nothing that can replace them. In my eyes, we are the best esports team inside of the entire school. We deserve this, I believe.
I think before we take a photo and have them all step down, that we also have a first place Mario Kart UNR Esports Invitational. Brian Gardner.
Congratulations. HOSA. Okay, we will now recognize HOSA participants.
There we go. Oh, yeah, right now, I'll invite them to do that first.
So this evening, I am fortunate enough to be able to recognize the students with the Nevada State HOSA, which, for those of you who don't know, was the Health Occupation Students of America, now referred to as our future health professionals. But before we recognize our students, I'm told that they have a video that they want to share with the group tonight, so we'll watch that first.
Which makes you a pioneer in brain health. Today, we know that by making small adjustments to your way of life, you can prevent Alzheimer's disease. By prioritizing sleep, nutrition, your emotional well-being, physical exercise, and cognitive fitness, you can lead a more brain-healthy life. Prevention doesn't happen overnight, which means now is the time to take action against Alzheimer's.
So we're going to start out by recognizing the third place winners at the Nevada State HOSA Leadership Conference in the Public Service Announcement Team category, and that PSA was for those third place winners. And they are Ava Bunyard, Lucas Chappelle, Reagan Johnson, Maya Sorensen, Lillian Souza. Caleb West. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the second place win at the Nevada State HOSA Leadership Conference in the Health Career Photography category. And that goes to Natalie Toigo. And then on to our first place win at the Nevada State HOSA Leadership Conference in the Life Support Skills category, and that's Riley Guerrero. Oh, no, it's okay. And I'd also like to call Elaine Adams up. So personally, I want to thank Elaine too, because I've had two children that have been students of hers and both participants in HOSA, and she has really helped shape their futures, and I appreciate all that you do and would love to hear from you.
Thank you for being here. Our other students, some of them are in choir competition, some are somewhere else. So they are busy and in a lot of different things. So that was a tip of their commercial or the PSA that they made. Really proud of them, as well as the others that we're doing in photography. We had over 26 students from our school that participated in the state conference. And we go against some of the biggest schools that bring 130 kids. So we did very well this year. We are grateful for the CTSO that we have at our high school, grateful for the CTE program and some of this experience that it gets. And as she said, her daughter is now getting into med school. We've had a lot of kids come back. The exciting thing is when I see a kid at the hospital that is now working, that at some point went through this program. And it's a great thing for our community as well. And so we're really proud of them and all the work that they've put in. Thank you.
And we'll do a quick picture with everybody.
Congratulations again. As you guys can see, we have a lot going on. I want to thank all the students, staff, parents. That was a lot of awards. That's the greatest part about being on the board, is giving out these awards to the different groups. So now we'll keep on moving on to the fun stuff here. Superintendent's update. A, Churchill County High School student representative of the board will report on high school current events. Tonight we have Valeria Casillas Ibarra.
Things you may not know about are the high school track team recently hosted the Youth Open Meet on April 19th. There were many great compliments on how the meet was ran, as well as how the athletes were helping out the little ones. Senior assassin has also began on Monday, April 21st. Winners for overall game and most kills will share the prize of $750. Volunteer Club will also be helping for Ag in the Class on Thursday, April 24th at the 3C Arena. For previous and upcoming events, the senior prom has been decided for Saturday, May 3rd. On May 2nd, Night of Fights will take place. This money goes towards Churchill County High School's wrestling team. From April 22nd until April 25th is Military Child Week. During the week, there are activities such as Monday being Rock Your Stars in the CCHS NJROTC Drill Team Exhibition. Tuesday is Shorter Sport by wearing your favorite military branch colors or insignias and having Navy boot camp activities. Wednesday is Wear Purple for military students and Marines activities. Thursday is Blend In by wearing your camo. And finally, Friday is Wear Red to remember everyone deployed. Also, we'll also be hosting a blood drive on May 1st. Scholarship Night for seniors is right around the corner on May 6th. For School Spotlight, we would like to recognize Tiffany Wright. She has been a great sport for this track season with her helping out with all athletes at all times. She encourages her athletes to go above and beyond of their abilities, motivating them for state. Our school upgrade is having the main building hallways painted. The new paint helps bring the school brighter, and for student council, I don't have any updates.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? All good. Thank you for a great report. Appreciate you. Okay, moving on. B, several written reports here. Latest student enrollment data will be provided to the board. Any questions on the enrollment? Human resources update. Any questions on human resources? Okay, principal reports. Any questions for the principals? I see we have them in the audience tonight. Trustee Whitaker, are you still with us?
Yep. I
No
have
questions?
some, I do
Okay.
have
I kind of
questions.
figured that. Go ahead.
What are you implying, Mr. President?
I just knew you've been in a car studying all day.
I was looking at some of the data, now that we've had almost a full year, across the schools. And we have the attendance data and then the majors and minor incidents reports. And as I was looking at these, I was comparing especially the older grades from Numa to the high school. And there's some significant jumps in one school compared to the one just younger and then the one just older. And my question is probably more for Daryl right now in that, how closely are you looking at these numbers and how much is it driving your training and support for the principal at that school?
So we review those numbers every month when they come out for the report, but we look at them in between also. And in the one situation that you're talking about, I've met with the principal and we've discussed and looking at things. So those are used as guidance for the training to look and figure out why the numbers are going higher. And so at the school sites, especially with the administration, they do much more detailed analysis of the data that's presented in there. They get down into the locations of things, down into the the severity of all of them. And one thing that I want to point out too on the middle school, which has had an increase, is that every one of the majors has been worked out on administration. Parents are contacted. They've been very busy, and so there's plans looking into the schedule and different things for next year at different ways to try and prevent that from happening, as well as dealing with it right now. So they're looked at regularly. At least once a week, I'm looking at behavior data and speaking with principals, and we see concerns so that we can just be aware of that. And Stacy does that and goes over that data with them in their monthly meetings that she has with them as well. So it is used, and there's some of our training that will happen with the administrators is based upon that, and part of the activities this summer, and we could even bring to the board more detailed analysis of this, especially throughout the entire year once the year is completed.
That's great. I would appreciate an overview of analysis. I think for me, what I would also appreciate is more clarity on what the plan is moving forward for the middle school. When we look at the significant rise at the middle school, I don't know what those numbers look like at other middle schools, what the difference is from elementary to middle school, whether it's statewide or nationwide, but it's significant. And then it drops significantly once we go back to the high school. So I'm hoping that we could have a discussion sometime, or with that, not just the information about the data, but also clarity on what concrete things are going to be done moving forward into the new school year for the middle school.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Good evening. Stacy Cooper, for the record, Assistant Superintendent. I would like to add, Trustee Whitaker and members of the board, the reinforcement that I do meet with our principals biweekly in one-on-one sessions, and the specific purpose is to review all pertinent data and to have a discussion on how that data is driving their instructional leadership, their management of their school, and driving their professional development decisions. Another component I would like to reinforce is, if you all recall, back when we revisited behavior back in 2003, and then we worked feverishly as a school district to establish a common matrices that embedded restorative practices and a solid, condensed focus on common terminology and classification of behaviors and how to identify them in Infinite Campus. We predicted that we were going to see the behaviors rise before we saw a mitigated response. And so this is an anticipated rise for us as a district, but it actually allows us to identify specifically what aspects need to drive our professional learning. I've been working with Linnell Kramer and Catherine Bervin-Mueller. We are already taking this feedback and these themes and putting it into our August professional development for our administrators in their retreat, as well as the first week back for our staff. So I look forward to sharing more information as we develop this specific plan, but I wanted you to be aware of that process.
Thank you. Any other questions for the principals? Okay, then we will move on to superintendent update. Any questions on his written update? Okay, Superintendent Parsons, do you have other matters?
A couple of things to mention. First, really cool thing is that with the library had a competition, and we're working to develop our relationships with all the community agencies and things, getting back to where they were. Know that they had a bookmark competition. We had 45 submissions from our schools, and there's a winner from each school. And on May 22nd, they're going to announce the grand prize winner, so we're excited about that. If you are the parent of a 6th grade student or an 11th grade student, the reality that sets in is, NRS was changed a few years ago, and there's a requirement for a vaccination. To enter 7th grade, you have to have a Tdap, and to enter 7th and 12th grade, you have to have the, I'm going to say it wrong, but the meningococcal virus or vaccination, which is called the MCV4. Those are required. So what typically happens is that school starts, and the nurses go through and they say, because students are prohibited from coming to school if they don't have these vaccinations, then here's the list of kids that can't attend school, and then they can't get it. So taking a very proactive and early approach. So Chastity, this was her idea, Bill's our chief nurse. On Tuesday, May 20th, at the high school, we will be having a vaccination clinic for those students to be able to get those. From 5 to 7 p.m., flyers are going out. We'll be posted up. We're going to broadcast this as much as we can, because the goal would be that nobody has to wait to attend school next year because of a vaccination. But if you wait till August to do this, the lines get long and it's harder to happen. We're excited about that. Also wanted to inform the board, I don't know if I'd mentioned it before, but every school in Nevada every district is required to participate in the Youth Behavior Risk Survey. And we will be participating in that at Churchill County Middle School on April 28th and Churchill County High School on Tuesday the 29th. Just so you're aware, I sent with that, there is a letter that goes home explaining and providing opt-out information. I sent another letter that we wrote in addition to the one that was recommended. This is mandated by NRS, and so the information provides parents the opportunities to preview the survey, opt their children out, and we're trying to make sure that the public is very aware of those that are chosen. They're randomly chosen English classes that will participate. Every student whose class has been chosen to participate will be notified or has been notified already, and there will be a paper going home as well if they haven't already gone home for the parents to opt their child out of that survey if they want to, because it is a youth risk behavior survey, so there are questions on there that some, especially younger, it starts 6th grade with middle school, they may not want them to answer, so parents have that opportunity. So we're trying to make sure that it's very clear and very transparent that those are going. It's mandated. We don't have a choice but to participate. Students may also choose to not take the survey, or they may choose which questions they want to answer. Paper survey, they don't have to answer all the questions, so they have that freedom of choice on there. And so we're just trying to make it very clear that everyone is aware of that ahead of time, know that it's happening, have been notified, and have that opportunity to opt out. That's their wish to do so. And just another thing, you know, we always have things going on, and tomorrow, Stacy and Linnell and I will participate in an attendance audit at 2 of our schools, with the state will be here. Something that happens every other year, I think. Last year it was a desktop audit. They didn't come here, but they're always checking on our things, and so we're, I don't know if excited is the right word, maybe excited for that, to have that finished for the year, but you know, we're always looking for ways to see what we're doing and verify that it's what the state's requiring. That's all that I have an update tonight.
Anybody have any questions, Superintendent? Yes, go ahead.
I just had a question regarding your comment in the report about the new math curriculum for the high school, for the math department.
Mm-hmm.
I know at the last meeting we were talking about the iReady for the middle school. And on this one, just curious how you did your selection process, and if you engaged the math teachers at the high school, or can you just give us a brief overview of what that looked like in the selection process?
I'll let Stacy give us more details because she took that on, but there is a policy that's followed to do that, and so that was there, and that was followed to do this, and there's been a lot of time and effort spent into figuring this one out. And one thing I'd like to add too, before she says that too, is that iReady curriculum that we use for math in K-8 only goes to 8th grade. It does have algebra and things like that, and they'll have available, but also part of this, the middle school, the courses that, like algebra, that can be offered for high school credit will have, are a part of this too, so they would have the same materials for the high school credit as well. Okay, Stacey, if you could tell a little bit more about the process.
Hi, good evening. Stacy Cooper, Assistant Superintendent for the record. We have a very clear and concise process identified in our policy and reg for curriculum adoption. I'm happy to say that we have followed a consistent practice from the adoption of our ELA all the way up through our math and into our current math curriculum proposal for the high school. We do take it a step farther because we really want to value what other school districts across the state of Nevada are valuing. So we do reach out to our area school districts across Nevada to find out what curriculum are you using at the high school level, what do you find beneficial, what's working, what's not working, so that we can relate that information back to our committee. For the high school math adoption, our curriculum math department head, Katie McGowan, took the lead with my support. She led the entire RFP process. They did a very comprehensive rubric scoring review, the exact same rubrics and reviewing process that we utilize with our ELA curriculum. They were then able to wean their selections down to top 2 candidates, and on one of our professional development days, they dedicated their entire morning to hearing from both of those companies and doing an actual revisit to their scoring categories. We not only had math teachers present, but we had parents, fellow administrators, and even other teachers from outside of the math department to participate in the evaluation process. I also want to thank Mr. Lattin and his wife, Ms. Lattin, for opening up their joint classroom so that we could have a dual presentation opportunity from our 2 companies. So I want to recognize them for that cooperation. It was not an easy process. There was heavy debate with an intense focus on remediation and intervention opportunities. So they ended up selecting McGraw-Hill because they do have an ALEX virtual component that allows teachers to reach back as early as 6th grade to actually embed some deep intervention that is skills and state standards aligned. They did collaborate with the middle school program because they do have pre-algebra and algebra opportunities at Churchill County Middle School. So we find that this process has been a great success, but it would not have been possible if it weren't for our curriculum adoption policy and regulations that we have here.
Thank you for that explanation, but when you say that you involved the middle school, was that like the middle school principal or anybody that teaches math at the middle school, or any of your math teachers from the
middle school administration, the middle school administration had opportunity to review the materials, as well as the middle school math teachers. They were invited to the RFP process, We did not have any middle school math teachers attend, but that doesn't mean that they were not invited. We had a lot of professional development all being offered in March. Or was it April? It all blends together. But the professional development day, March 13th, we had a lot going on, and there were some opportunities for all staff across the district on that day.
Any other questions on superintendent report? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to business services update. Several written reports. A, budget to actual. Any questions? Workers' compensation. Questions? Quarterly student funds report. Quarterly board budget report. Quarterly travel reports. Update regarding other business items. Terry Lacka is not here tonight, but does anybody have any questions on any business items at all? And we will move on. Upcoming board events, as you can see, there are many, and some of them are already moving into next year. We do have a conflict. The 8th grade promotion ceremony and adult ed is on the same night. We will just kind of have to divide and conquer. I know a couple of you guys really are interested in going to the 8th grade promotion, so that should not be a problem. But we will have representatives there, so that's just one to be looking at. Okay, moving on to consent agenda. For possible actions, items may be pulled for discussion. I will read them all off, but I do want to pull one. So we have A, approval, recommended personnel action. B, approval of vouchers. C, approval of March payroll. D, approval of April 9th, 2025 special board meeting minutes. D, acceptance of budget transfer report and authorization to record budget transfers between functions or programs for the general fund for the period of 3/1/2025 through 3/31/2025 as required by NRS 354598005. Approval of restructuring to the Office of Learning and Innovation, Office of Inclusive Services, and department name change to Office of Student Services. G, for approval, policy 8200.3, duties of officers. H, approval of food service management company agreement amendment for the period of 7/1/2025 through 6/30/2026 with an increase of 0.122 cents per meal in compensation to Chartwell's under its food service and management contract to the district. I would like to pull item G, policy 8200.3. I have some questions, and I don't think it kind of came out quite how it was supposed to. Anybody else have anything?
I move to approve consent agenda items A, B, C, D, E, F, and H.
I have a motion by trustee McFadden, a second by trustee Ghetto. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda items? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Trustee Whitaker? I'm guessing we might have lost her, so it is unanimous with the ones that are present. Okay, on G, approval policy 8200.3, duties of officers. It changed from a president's a one-year term to a two-year term. I don't believe, according to the policy people I'm hearing, that was supposed to be a change. I believe it was supposed to stay as a one-year.
So yeah, the packet had what was being presented to the policy committee, which was an edit of 1 year to 2 years. And the policy committee met recently and discussed it. So that was myself and trustee Bullock and trustee Whitaker. And, thoughtful conversation was had, and basically the recommendation was for no change, but with all due respect, explain that since you had requested that the policy committee take a look at that.
I am not in favor of it anymore, if that helps you.
Oh, perfect. It was more for protection of when you potentially have a president who isn't fulfilling their role and things like that. Whereas in the case where somebody's doing a great job, then no problem, they get elected to serve again. But in the case where maybe they're not able to fulfill all of the duties required, as you know, that's like a pretty large undertaking, and the board doesn't feel like they should continue on, then they have that leverage, like after a year, to say, let's appoint a different trustee. So
I agree. I see more problems than solutions with it.
Perfect.
So I'm guessing if we take no action, it will just stay the same, correct?
So
Okay,
we
so
can
will
just leave it
we
with
will just take this
withdrawn.
off and move on. Okay. So moving on, reports by board members. Trustee Bullock.
I today was able to go visit with Miss Melindy at Lahontan, and we had a great visit. We walked around and saw some of the classrooms and some of the cute kids and all of the amazing things that they're doing there. And I enjoyed my time while I was there. Thank you for having me.
Trustee Guerrero-Getch. Trustee Blakey.
Yes, I attended the UNR recognition of 53 students at the high school who have already been admitted into UNR. They had their gal from UNR come. She provided donuts, had shirts for all of the kids. It was really cool to be a part of. I do hope that next year maybe we can get some more students and staff and parents if that's what they're wanting there, because there was only a few. But all in all, it was really great. And then I attended the safety and security meeting. It was my first one, so I just kind of was taking it all in. I'm super excited to be a part of that and see the direction of how we can go and move forward to make our schools even more safe.
Yeah. Trustee Whitaker, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Just report on, and I heard Trustee Ketch mention that the policy committee met a couple of weeks ago. Those policies are in the board book. There's some that we are continuing to work on, namely the suicide prevention policy. Which will be coming up shortly, when we'll do some more work on that in our next policy committee meeting in a couple of weeks. Just want to recognize Catherine and Stacy for their work in developing that policy. It's taken a lot, and we appreciate their patience and diligence in developing that. There's some components to that policy that we will be the first in the state to have included. So when that does show up on board book, likely in our next board meeting, I want to invite all board members to take a serious look at that and make sure that they understand and the policy so that we can move forward and be effective in the way that we handle suicide prevention.
Okay, thank you. Trustee McFadden?
Just wanted to note that we are starting the negotiation sessions with licensed and classified. I also was able to attend the Safety and Security Committee, where we had a lot of really good discussion on where we're at and how we can make some improvements in our district. And then I'm also excited to announce that our Discipline and Attendance Committee meeting has been set and will be back in action soon.
Thank you. I just have one quick one. After all the awards we're giving lately, it's one of the greatest things, but I think I'm going to delegate who passes, who's going to give the awards out. That will be a delegation coming up really soon. Just be aware of that. I'd say it probably fits under Vice President if I were to guess. Anyway, moving on, new business. A, for discussion and possible action, the board will select 3 board members to work on and submit award nominations to the Nevada Association of School Boards. Due date for nominations is August 15th. In the packet, you can see the different descriptions, and so we need 3 people. It's a fun committee. It's work because you have to start thinking about right now who might fit under that category. And then there's 3 of you have to decide on it, and then you have to write up a report on, give quite a bit of background. Otherwise, you're giving a bunch of information, and they're never going to get picked anyway. So I am not going to be on it. I was on it last year with Trustee Ghetto and Trustee Whitaker. Trustee Whitaker is there, and she's willing. She has some history from the state level, what they're looking for, so I think that does help. But I will look for 3 volunteers to do that. Anybody have a really great desire? I can see some people just dying to grab the mic right now. Trustee Whitaker, are you willing to still do it?
Yeah, I'll be on the committee again.
Thank you. Hey, Trustee Bullock, we're down to, and Trustee Girl-Getch. All right, we have our three. I guess we have to make, it says possible action. I guess we do have to make a motion on that. Do you want to give me a motion on that? I guess what the action would be, yes. We are on 13, new business A.
So I will move to select the three board members, being myself, Wendy Bullock, Trustee Whitaker, and Trustee Julie Guerrero-Getch, to be the Nevada Association of School Boards. Oh, wait, it just says due date of nominations is August 15. To submit award nominations to the Nevada Associations of School Board.
Perfect.
I skipped a line, sorry.
All right, so I have a motion by Trustee Bullock, a second by Trustee McFadden. Is there any public comment on the three? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous. Okay, moving on to B, presentation discussion, update regarding the athletic winter sports survey results for the 24-25 winter sports season. Athletic Director Brian Mello.
I believe you guys all have the results from the survey, so I guess I'll just open it up if there's any questions or anything you want to talk about.
Do you have any questions for our Athletic Director?
Sorry, my microphone wasn't on. I do have a couple of questions. I was just wondering if you could just go through how this was brought together and which winter sports were, just for, you know, the record, which sports were part of this.
In the past, I believe the previous ADs used a called a Survey Monkey, and I wasn't impressed because you couldn't dissect it and go by specific sport. So I created one on Google Forms, and it was the three winter sports were wrestling, girls basketball, and boys basketball. The numbers when I presented in the fall, we had about 140 surveys that were completed. And what I did this time, and I'm not sure why, is I didn't include student athletes. And so that's why our numbers are a little bit lower with just the parents.
And how many people do you think responded to this? Do we know exactly?
23.
Oh, was it on the top? 23 out of how many? So with the scores, as we can all see, that the scores are kind of low in some of the categories. Is there a plan moving forward to address the situation?
Yeah, I met with, so after I get the surveys, I kind of create my own spreadsheet, and I meet with all three of the coaches individually. And if you look on that back page, we kind of have some of the talking points that I talked to with the coaches about, you know, hiring a female wrestling coach that is going to be happening next year with the NIAA, having girl wrestling. And so I believe that we need to hire another coach, which might need to be opened up for another stipend. But and then, you know, just a lot of it is the tricky one. If you look at some of those scores that are lower, it's a lot about communication. And I think at the high school level, coaches are trying to relay that information through the athlete to the parents. and the parents still want that letter pinned to their shirt, you know, when it's practice. And so we did talk about, with all three coaches, about having maybe some sort of remind app that goes out to the parents so they can all see it, but not necessarily get responses back. And so we talked about that, and I know a few coaches that baseball and that's going on right now, and some of the other winter sports are going to be doing that. So
I'm glad you mentioned that. That was actually in my notes about remind apps.
Yeah.
You know, I do. And we use, you know, like the band app, things like that, that just get parents in the loop a little bit about what's going on. And as we all know, I think that students do not relay all the time of what is going, you know, they don't, you tell them, go home and tell your parents you have a game this weekend, and they often don't do it until 5 minutes before the game. So I think we can all kind of respect that a little bit. I think my last question is, after something like this and after each season, do you, does your staff or yourself, do you guys evaluate your coaches and have that one-on-one conversation with them after the season is over? You know, just the same that you would with any employee at the school?
yes, yeah. There's a coaching rubric that we talk about preseason. I sit down and meet with them, and then we talk about that at the end of the season. Great. Yeah. If you look on that second page, I did do a few of the highlights so far, what's going on. So super excited about next Tuesday. We'll have 5 kids signing letters of intent to go play. Our newest one is going to be running cross country, so that's kind of cool. So, and at the very bottom of that, I just had to turn in the academic all-state, and so you can see that baseball has 6 student athletes with the 4.0, softball has 4 student athletes with the 4.0, and then track has 20 students, and then boys golf has 4. So, very exciting.
Any other questions? I'd like to see more people, but I also get how surveys work. Like when you get one on staying in a room, if you got the room for free, you might give a survey. The only way you give one is if you're really mad. I mean, that's kind of how surveys work in this world. You spend the time if you're not happy with it, but if you're happy, you just kind of. So I get it, but I'd like to see a bigger number. Give me.
I'll offer free T-shirts or popcorn next.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, C, for discussion and possible action, approval to award the copier rental contract based on request for proposal for 7/01/2025 to 6/30/30/30. Seems like that's a ways out there, doesn't it? Any discussion, action? Yes.
I can just add, so Terry and I will be here on that, on the copier rental. That was out and the processes were followed and everything was done. The processes, they were the only company that came back with something, and we've been using them for several years now, and yeah, this is a multi-year contract, so let's get back to that time, but there is an increase, as most things have been, but it's not really huge, so we were happy with it because the service has been good to us.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I move to approve the copier rental contract for 7/01/2025 through 6/30/2030 to Office Products as proposed.
I have a motion by Trustee McFadden, a second by Trustee Blakey. Any public comment on the copier contract? Seeing none, all in favor? Trustee Whitaker, you still there? So it's unanimous by those that are present. Okay, moving on to policies. First reading. The board will receive information on, discuss, and may take preliminary action on the following policies. A, for review, Regulation 1300.0, community use of school district buildings and facilities. Do you have any questions on that one? Okay, B, for discussion and possible action, policy 3300, purchasing. Or do we need an action on that one?
I move to approve policy 3300.
I have a motion by Trustee McFadden, a second by Trustee Guerrero Gatch. Any public comment on that? Seeing none, all in favor? It is unanimous. So we are on, that would have been both of them, I guess. The C for discussion and possible action, policy 3302, nutrition policy, Buy American. Any questions on that?
I move to approve policy 3302.0, nutrition policy by American.
I have a motion by trustee Guerrero-Getch, a second by trustee McFadden. Any public comment? Okay, all in favor? It is unanimous. Okay, moving on, public comment. Members of the public who speak are asked to state their name for the record and will be limited to a uniform number of minutes. Board members may respond briefly to public comment but cannot deliberate on matters that are not listed on the agenda. Is there any public comment? Okay, moving on to 16. Discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items as requested by the Board of Trustees. Clarification of requested agenda items. Trustee McFadden?
I would like to take a deeper look into the middle school behavior data, especially by grade and other demographics, and discuss the district plan for improvement.
Okay, is that it? Okay, thank you. Trustee Whitaker, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, do you have any future agenda item requests?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Ghetto? Trustee Blakey? Trustee Guerrero-Getch? Bullock?
I do. I don't know if it needs to actually be a request or not. I'll let Daryl decide that. But I was hoping to get an update on the Hope Squad at the high school and maybe have them come in and do either a presentation or something like that. Just so that last time we saw them, they were just getting started and it was just kind of an idea. So.
And we have that on there to do, but I'll write it down. We'll make sure that happens.
Okay, I do have one. It's kind of going to be an odd one. I want one that is a request on a timeline of future agenda items. I think if we have a 6-month or some period that it expires, that we actually have to make sure we are looking at them instead of 4.5 years later. I don't know if that needs to be in policy or how we can do that. And also, if a board member is no longer here, I think somebody currently on the board should have to bring that back up. It shouldn't just hang in there for the rest of its life. So I know that seems like an odd one to add to, because it may not get looked at. It may be stuck in that hole for 4 years. Okay, so we good with that one? Okay. Thank you. Let's go on to set date and time for next board agenda setting. It is you, Trustee Ghetto. Board meeting is late June, right? Or May.
The meeting is May 28th.
Right after graduation.
So either like the 15th, 16th, or the 19th.
Not do the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. I can do the 19th, or I can do the 14th.
The 15th works best for me.
I have a graduation that date. I can't do the 15th.
Okay. I can do the 16th at a limited time in the afternoon. We have some NASB delegate meetings.
I can't do either one of those. You totally, 14th and 19th, you're totally busy. I can do 14th, 19th, or 20th. 20th too late for you?
So we could make the 20th work. Or if we wanted to do
anytime. You want to go too early? You don't want to go too early?
I don't want to go too early, and then I've got things off on 13th. The 19th work for everyone?
Does 19th work?
If we do like 2 o'clock.
That work for you?
work for me.
So it's 2 o'clock on the 19th, is that where we end up? Okay. Perfect. Do we have a closed session today? For negotiations?
No.
We don't have negotiations closed session. Charlotte, do you have, no? Okay, so I guess this meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys very much. Thank you.